The SR-71 is a multi-million-dollar tool for long-range observation. But you're not here to learn about this Blackbird. You're here to learn about this one. The Roxant Blackbird. Not a multi-million-dollar tool for long-range observation. More like $80. And in this episode, we're going to find out if it's worth that. Or more. Okay, this is the Roxant Blackbird, and this has got to be the most flimsy packaging I've yet experienced in reviewing these 50mm spotting scopes. Yes, Orion probably has the plainest packaging, but this is just rather fairly thin. Let's see what we have on here. We've got Blackbird, high-definition spotting scope, information about the website, an offer to you get a free monocular, I suppose, handheld pocket scope, which I assume to be a monocular, totally free when you register the Blackbird. So that, that might be interesting to check out. So let's open this up. Oh, so it's already falling apart here. So, but that's actually the bottom. Let us open it from the top where it's supposed to be opened. We have the scope in a pouch. We have the tripod and an instruction manual, and that's it. Instruction manual, fairly basic, and that was how it came in the packaging. We have the tripod. Yes, it's very similar to the one that I got with the Sabani, and some of the Ghost guys come with this type of tripod. Very basic stamped sheet metal legs, and these are fairly budget, but they're pretty rigid, so it's not necessarily bad. In fact, older spotting scopes back in the day used to come with these kind of they called them travel tripods, or at least they advertised them as travel tripods back in the day, so not necessarily bad. And we have the spotting scope itself. Very lightly padded bag. Not really much padding. It's soft on the inside, but I wouldn't consider that padding. And we have the spotting scope. And a microfiber cleaning cloth came with that. It is a very small, compact spotting scope here. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, a little over, shade over 9 inches long. So that's about an inch shorter than any of the other spotting scopes I've reviewed in the 50mm category. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches tall, which is about the same height-wise, but it is shorter than any of the spotting scopes that I've reviewed before. It has a sunshade, integrated sunshade, fast focus ring on the front. And overall, not bad. Not bad at all. I'd say at least as comparable to the Sabani in terms of overall construction. And it has a pop-up eye cup, which is nice. Only the Orion had this, so this is definitely a nice touch. Oh, yeah, overall nice features. The magnification ring could be a little smoother. Not bad. And the focus ring, I feel a little bit of bite. I wouldn't necessarily call it grittiness. Maybe a bit of grittiness, but it feels like I'm at the very end. I'm feeling a little bit of bumping of like gears of teeth meshing, like not meshing correctly. So that's a little worrisome. But we'll have to see when we actually look through the optics. So let's go ahead and mount this up, take it outside, and try it out. It mounted on my tripod easily and securely, and one of the nice features is that the magnification ring moves independently of the eyepiece. So this allows you to mount a camera and not have to take it off and realign it every time you change the magnification. This makes taking photos of wildlife or any moving object so much easier. We're looking through the Roxant at 12 power. It's always good to look at a scope at both its lowest and highest power setting. At its lowest power setting, you're getting really the best that the scope can offer you in terms of its overall image sharpness, clarity, contrast, and color saturation and brightness. We're looking at the peak of Mount Davidson, which is 1,200 yards away, which is a fair distance and gives us a good indication of the kind of detail you're going to get with long distance observation. Now, it is a bit of a hazy day, so we're not going to get as sharp of an image or as much color saturation as we would on an ideal day. Now, we're going to zoom up the magnification to its maximum, which is 36 power. And in this case, we're going to lose some of the brightness in the image, as well as we're not really going to get that much sharper because we're just magnifying the inherent sharpness of the primary glass. The vignetting you're seeing is partially an artifact of the camera mount and not necessarily the view that you're getting through the naked eye. In the center of the image is a white 8-foot-tall trail marker sign, and we're going to move it over to the left, which we're seeing the base of the 920-foot-tall Mount Davidson cross there in the image. And let's see if we can find any hikers along the trail so we can get a possible moving object. Nope. I'm going to zoom in with a digital camera just to make sure that the scope is focused for this distance. And I think that's about as good as we're going to get it. We are getting a little bit of heat shimmer. Okay, back out to normal on my phone camera. So no hikers today. No luck in some moving objects. So let's move it to a nearer object. In this case, a home about 600 yards away and a rocky hillside in front of it, 500 yards away. We can see the individual panels on the side of that house, as well as some texture of the roofline shingles. And we can see the texture and detail of the links in the erosion control netting and the rocks on the hillside there at 500 yards. Let's look at things from a more typical birdwatching distance. I'm going to zoom it back out to 12 power, and we're going to take a look at a tree 50 yards away and about 80 feet up. And speaking of blackbirds, we have a crow or a raven up in this pine tree. Okay, let me lock this tripod down and get a steady shot. Okay, now let me crank this back up to its maximum 36 power and see what kind of detail we can get. And unfortunately, we can see here changing magnification does affect the focus. Oh, and it looks like Mr. Raven doesn't want to be associated with the blackbird anymore. Now, where did he go? It looks like, well, he might have taken off. In any case, let's take a look at the detail on these pine cones, just to give you an idea of the clarity and detail you're going to get at 36 power at objects 50 yards away. Okay, so let's take it over to the range and show how it performs for shooters. We're here at the Sheriff's Department range to see what targets look like at 100 yards. In previous episodes, I've been reviewing a number of 50mm spotting scopes. My primary purpose was to find a good compact spotting scope to spot my hits on targets at 100 yards. And I'm shooting 22 long rifle, and those are pretty small holes at 100 yards. Here we're looking at 12 power at target frame number 11. And I'm going to zoom in to 36 power here. Let's take a look at a still image here so we don't have to deal with any shakiness from the tripod or heat shimmer. Now, I've checked the focus, and the objects in the center are going to be as sharp as I can get it with this scope at this magnification at this distance. And we can see here there is a noticeable softening of sharpness as we're going away from the center. The red and white diamond-shaped target in the center of the frame is starting to get a little distorted and soft, and we are seeing chromatic aberrations, especially as we get further from the center near the edges. At the center of the frame are two sheets of paper clipped on to the bottom of the target frame. On the left is a square paper target with a small 2-inch black circular bullseye. And because it's a reactive sticker target, I can clearly make out two 22 hits on that bullseye. And below it, a small 22 hole on paper. Now, I can barely make that one out, and I know there are two other 22 holes on this paper target, but but I can't see them. So in terms of resolution and clarity, this is kind of a deal breaker for me as far as this scope is concerned. But your needs may be different. You may not need this as a spotting scope for tiny little 22 holes at 100 yards. So let's take a look at the U.S. Air Force's optical resolution chart on the right. And the smallest horizontal and vertical line element that I can make out, that I can resolve at this magnification at this distance, is in the -2 column on the left. And that's element number 6. So is that bad? Well, it's not great. The other 50mm scopes I've recently reviewed all fall within the -1 column on the right in terms of resolution. On the plus side, it's really small, compact, and light, and has some really nice external features, like the captured lens caps, the pop-out sunshade, and eye cup. It's not as sharp as some brands, but it is nice and bright and offers good color rendition. And is that more important to you? Well, I don't know. That's your call. And hopefully this review helped you decide whether or not the Roxant Blackbird is right for you. And if it was helpful for you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It encourages me to make more videos like this. And if you have ideas for other reviews or suggestions on how I could have made this review better, please leave me a comment. If you're interested in picking up a Blackbird, I'll include a link in the video description, or just go to my website at moondogindustries.com for more information. And as I've mentioned, I've done a number of other reviews of other spotting scopes in a similar price and performance bracket, and I'll include links in the video description so you can check those out. Thanks again for watching. Moondog, out. Hey, if you like this video, please share it on social media. You know, Facebook, forums, MeWe, whatever platform you're on. And if you want to see more videos, check out moondogindustries.com.